Hi, everyone. This is a CBS2 update. I'm Jessica Layton. Just in, New Jersey gambling regulators have revealed how the state's sports betting market did in its first few weeks. Monmouth Park Racetrack in Oceanport and the Borgata Casino started offering sports betting back on June 14th. Ocean Resort Casino started June 28th. And today's numbers show more than $16.4 million in sports bet have been made. That includes some sporting events that haven't even happened yet, like the World Series. From that, casinos made almost $3.5 million. Since New Jersey taxes the winnings, the state made almost $294,000. Well, a simple promotion turned into a big problem at Build-A-Bear stores across the country today. Take a look at the crazy long line at the store at Roosevelt Field Mall, all because the company was offering a one-day deal. Kids pay their age for a stuffed toy. That created a big rush on the stores. Long lines like this also reported in Arizona, Illinois, and Seattle. The company had to shut down all the lines because so many people showed up to cash in. A Legionnaires cluster in Upper Manhattan has residents very concerned there. There are 8 new cases in parts of Hamilton Heights and Washington Heights. Health officials are working to isolate the source, which they believe is a cooling tower in the area. A community meeting is being held tonight at St. Luke's AME Church for the concerned people. Now, Legionnaires' disease is a type of pneumonia caused by Legionella bacteria that grows in warm water. It can be contracted by breathing in the water vapor that contains that bacteria. The disease causes flu-like symptoms, which typically appear 2 to 10 days after somebody has been exposed. Now to an incredibly gruesome murder. A woman stabbed to death with a screwdriver in the Bronx. Police say the suspect might be responsible for another murder in that area, too. CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge has the story from the Mott Haven section.
This is the building where that woman, Wanda Rios, lived. We've been speaking with her neighbors who are in disbelief that their friend was killed yesterday and have been leaving behind flowers and candles here at a memorial. They are also even more upset to learn the suspect charged in her death is accused of another stabbing death just 1 month ago. Police arrested this man, 45-year-old Idris Abdul Muhaimin, at a residence in the Bronx last night, charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. Wanted for the stabbing death of an elderly man in Mott Haven last month who police believe was his uncle, but also for the murder of 45-year-old Wanda Rios, who was killed inside a Wakefield security company yesterday afternoon where she worked.
Why did that happen to her? Why her? Right. You know, what did she do to deserve this?
Detectives found Rios with stab wounds to her neck inside M&I Security Services at 233rd and Bronxwood Avenue. When police were called around 2 p.m., they found her unconscious with a screwdriver next to her body. She was rushed to the hospital blocks away, but was pronounced dead. Neighbors say she was well loved in the community and leaves behind a husband and young daughter.
It crushed my heart because it's like, now, like, you know, she has no mother. You know, now his husband, you know, he's hurting upstairs, and everybody just want to know why. Like, why this happened?
They also want to know why it took so long to find Abdul Muhaimin, also a suspect in the June 11th murder of 73-year-old Owen Dillard. He was found by his fiancée stabbed to death in his apartment on Beekman Avenue.
I can't process this, and why? If he'd done this before, why wasn't the police on this a long time ago?
In that case, detectives believe Dillard may have been robbed. A relative told us he had won a $50,000 lottery jackpot not long before he died. He was killed exactly 1 month before Rios and only lives blocks away from her apartment. The police have not said whether the two victims knew one another, but authorities say this latest crime does not appear to be random. And that suspect is expected to appear before a judge in court this afternoon. In Mott Haven, Natalie Duddridge, CBS 2 News.
A wrong-way crash on the Belt Parkway kills a taxi passenger. Police say around 2 o'clock this morning, a man in a silver Volkswagen was driving eastbound in the westbound lanes of the Parkway, then hit a car just before the 4th Avenue exit. The TLC says the car that was hit is licensed as a cab. A backseat passenger in that car died. The driver and a front seat passenger were also hurt. Big question now is how the man in the Volkswagen was able to get into the lanes going the wrong way in the first place. The accused driver is under arrest for DWI, 3 counts of vehicular assault and 1 count of vehicular manslaughter. A special honor now for one of New York's finest. The city dedicated a plaque in Central Park to honor Detective Stephen McDonald. He was paralyzed 32 years ago today after being shot by a 15-year-old boy in the park. 8 months later, he forgave that teen and then traveled the world, inspiring so many others with speeches on faith and forgiveness. His wife and son, who is now an NYPD officer, hope the plaque serves as a reminder of his legacy.
If a man who was shot by a 15-year-old kid when he did nothing but just try to talk to him can live a life of love and compassion, I think we all can do that.
Detective McDonald died last year. He was 59 years old. Now to heated testimony today at a congressional hearing. FBI agent Peter Strzok is testifying before members of Congress about the agency's investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of email. He was also part of special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into potential coordination between Russia and Donald Trump's presidential campaign and allegedly sent anti-Trump text messages to another colleague. Strzok said he had been advised not to answer specific questions about the ongoing investigation into Russian election interference. Well, that set off a testy back and forth between Congressman Jerry Nadler and Chairman Bob Goodlatte.
Mr. Strzok, please be advised that you can either comply with the committee's directive to answer the question or refuse to do so, the latter of which will place you at risk of a contempt citation and potential criminal liability.
Point of order.
Do you understand that?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
The question is directed to the witness.
And I have a point of order before he answers the question.
The point of order is not well taken until...
You don't know what the point of order is. You can't say it's not well taken.
The point of order, the witness will answer the question.
Mr. Chairman, I raise my point of order, and I insist on it.
Well, Strzok says his work has never been tainted by politics, and he's expected to spend hours testifying before the House Judiciary Committee. A painting that was stolen and then missing for decades is back with its rightful owner tonight. Today, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York revealed the long missing painting from Robert Motherwell. It was stolen around 1978 when the artist hired a company to move the painting. Recently, the son of a moving company employee called a foundation founded by Motherwell to check on the authenticity of that painting. He said he inherited it when his father passed away. When the FBI told him it was stolen, he turned it over. New information now on a subway surfer caught on camera. Police arrested 22-year-old Isaiah Thompson of Bed-Stuy. They say he is the man who was caught on camera hanging onto the side of a C train in Brooklyn Friday. The man who shot the video says Thompson couldn't beat the closing doors, so he hung on instead. Thompson is being charged with disorderly conduct and reckless endangerment. And now here's John Elliott with the weather.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for dialing us up and punching that button. And here we are. Tell you what, this area high pressure is building in. The wind shifted after that super soaker this morning for the city. Tell you what, we had about 3/4 of an inch of rain out of that thing. Well, now, winds out of the north bringing in less humid air. Nice day for this time of the year, right around 84 out the door. Pretty day tomorrow, nice way to wrap up the week, and I know after a holiday week last week, a lot of folks are glad it's going to be Friday tomorrow. And then Saturday, whoa, summer's back. Steamy heat. It's not just heat. It's steamy heat. Humidity values up, so some of the models bring in a thunderstorm north and west on Saturday. So heading to the hills for fun or work, remember that. I think the odds are actually a little better on your Sunday. Now, we do need the rain. Even with the rain this morning, for July, we're over ½ inch below normal, and since the 1st of June, 1.81 is the deficit. In the city, 84 this afternoon. Speaking of the city, Manhattanhenge. That sun setting in line with the grid of the city. So pretty. 8:20 is the time tomorrow, too. I think it's actually better tonight. Then 69 overnight tonight. Tomorrow, pretty nice day. Going to the beach, remember those rip currents. And then remember, for your weekend, heat and humidity are back. And I tell you what, it's going to be hot first part of next week, too.
All right, and as John just mentioned, here's another look. Tonight, you can get another chance to snap those shots of Manhattanhenge. For 2 days every spring and summer, the setting sun lines up just perfectly with Manhattan street grid. It happened back in May, and it's happening again tonight around 8:20, also tomorrow at 8:22. If you take any pictures, share them on Instagram, and of course, tag CBS New York. You might remember the young Brooklyn girl from this next story we're about to share with you. We first met her when she was blessed by Pope Francis during his trip to New York back in 2015. As CBS2 Cindy Hsu reports now, the teenager says her life is still being filled with miracles.
We first met Julia Bruzzese 3 years ago when she was blessed by Pope Francis at Kennedy Airport. She spoke to CBS2's Dick Brennan.
I came here because I wanted to meet the Pope because I believe in a miracle.
And you saw him. What was that like?
It was the most precious moment of my life.
Julia believes the first miracle came days later when she was finally diagnosed with Lyme disease. She had gone from a healthy, active child to becoming paralyzed, and doctors couldn't figure out why. When her story hit the news, strangers reached out from all over the world to help with medical bills and equipment.
If it wasn't for community, just people reaching out and offering us help, we would have lost our home. We would have lost everything.
Julia just celebrated her 15th birthday and says her faith is stronger than ever.
You still see, like, you know, the love from the Pope still happening to, like, the miracles is still continuing.
She says the latest miracle is a wheelchair lift she and her family had been trying to get for nearly 2 years. But it wasn't until State Senator Marty Golding got involved that it happened.
I was so ecstatic when I got it because before the lift, you know, my brothers or my dad would have to lift me over their shoulder and bring me down the steps.
Julia and her family are warning others early diagnosis is the key. If you catch Lyme early enough, antibiotics can successfully treat the disease. She has this message for others suffering from Lyme.
Just that they're, you know, they're not alone, and that, you know, it gets easier, and they're going to be okay, and that I'm here fighting for them.
And it should be no surprise, Julia plans on becoming a doctor. In Bath Beach, Cindy Hsu, CBS 2 News.
What a beautiful girl inside and out. And Julia says she's also working on starting a foundation to help other people with Lyme disease. That's your CBS 2 News update. Stay with us on CBSNewYork.com along with the CBS New York Facebook and Twitter pages for all the news as it's happening. I'm Jessica Layton. Have a great afternoon.